Merry Christmas, everybody! And today, on Christmas Day, for our sixth game of Christmas, we have a 32X game on our hands. Actually, the launch title for the 32X, now that I think about it. A long time ago in the galaxy of far, far away. Same universe as Shrek, I reckon. Star Wars! Galaxy of Far, Far Away. That's the name of the galaxy right there. And John Williams' score, hope I don't get copyright. A New Hope. It is a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. And yep, it's the plot of A New Hope, sort of. Now, we do have a choice between two ships. I'm just gonna go with this one, though. It has 4 laser cannons and 2 proton torpedoes. And the difference between 32X and arcade modes is 32X adds a few more...
Attention all wing pilots. Stand by to receive orders.
Sounds like Arnold.
Wipe out enemy fighters.
And put that cookie down! Anyways, the difference between 32X and arcade mode is that the 32X mode actually adds a number of new stages. Otherwise, it's the exact same game, so I'm not playing arcade mode. Because I don't have to do that. And by the way, the controls are inverse, so there's no way to change them. Also, the controls are super sensitive, so trying to keep steady so I can lock onto my target and hit my targets is gonna be quite tricky. Luckily, in this opening level, which is clearly meant to be a demo level, the enemy fighters will make absolutely zero attempt to try to beat you. And oh yeah, I forgot. Perfect playthrough conditions, you just have to beat the game. There's no extra conditions. However, because the 32X mode actually adds additional content, and there's nothing that is exclusive to the arcade version, and I mean literally nothing. The main objective here isn't just to beat the game, but to beat the game in 32X mode. Anyways, we hit the target, and
Wipe out enemy fighters.
he sounds like Arnold. It is abundantly clear that they could not get Admiral Akbar's original voice actor reprise his role, so they basically got somebody who sounds a lot more like Arnold Brown Snyder. Who actually is the featured character in the next game of Christmas that I will be covering tomorrow. So, spoilers there, but the next game of Christmas is an Oni game. So, generally speaking, all you have to do is shoot down every TIE fighter per stage in order to move on. Now, right now, I can still quite reliably shoot and hit my targets by using the crosshairs. But if I can't get them beneath the crosshairs, but I'm able to lock on them, then I will fire a torpedo. A proton torpedo. Luckily, our proton torpedoes do regenerate over time. So I can conserve the proton torpedoes quite handily, early on at least. But I have to... And oh yeah, I think B acts as the brakes, and A... C fires, B is... No. I forgot which is which, it's been a while. But C, I do know you fire your weapon with the C button. You shoot with your C with the C button. Normal projectiles. This game uses the 6-button controller interface, so Z actually fires proton torpedoes. And I forgot what does what between A and B, but one actually slows down and the other speeds up. You want to slow down in order to get TIE fighters behind you to jump up in front of you. You want to speed up in order to try to evade enemy fire, as well as possibly catch a TIE fighter off the distance. So, absolutely take the advice from from what the screen tells you. If it says enemy behind you or to slow down, you slow down. The enemy tells you, oh, you're being attacked, and try to outmaneuver them. You hit those boosters to speed up. You can take 7 hits before you lose your shields. Once the shields run out, once those 7 hits are up, and you lose all your shields, and the next hit, may it be from enemy fire or from an obstacle, will instantly kill you. This game is quite hard.
Form the Imperial Death Star and wipe out enemy fighters.
So that's something new.
Lock S files and attack positions.
3 leaders standing by.
They're coming in. 3 marks at 210.
Watch it, you've got one on your tail.
Sounds like Biggs and Wedge, who actually got their start in Star Wars before becoming recurring characters in from Final Fantasy 6 and 7 onwards. Alright, from what I gathered, you can't actually shoot down Vader's ship. You can fire at it, but to the best of my knowledge, all you can really do is fight him off. I guess it makes sense. Vader doesn't die in a TIE fighter. He doesn't die in any of these space battles, so all you can really do is fight him off. By the way, you don't have to shoot down any of the cannons, though it will make your job easier, as you don't have to put up with their fire. But you do get a brand new set of targets that you do have to shoot down and kill and destroy. Only I can find them. Alright, here they are. These are the new targets that we need to gun down now. So we're taking on the first Death Star. And it's these laser turrets that shoot it on all sides. Honestly, I do think Star Wars Arcade is a neat little warm-up to determine whether or not a feature-perfect playthrough of Rebel Assault on the Sega CD would be worth my time or not. We have to deal with copyrighted tracks from the John Williams catalog, and that can actually make things a bit complicated. Of course, everything other than the opening title theme is basically just on a Genesis synth. it literally uses the Sega Genesis sound driver for its music rather than the Sega CD. So who knows if that will safeguard be from the copyright bots for John Williams or Lucasfilm or, God forbid, the House of Mouse. Mr. Meouse himself. Alright, and we have a new mission type now. We have to target the exhaust port and fire it. This is literally a recreation of the final space battle. I know, yeah, X and Y basically allow you to toggle between first person and third person point of views. I would recommend the third person point of views for these missions and the first person point of views for everything else. For the wipeout enemy fighter missions. But when you have a specific target that you need to go through an obstacle but if you need to travel an obstacle course, I would recommend third person. Gives you a better clue as to your surroundings, as your objective is to survive the obstacle course and shoot the target. And man, I'm getting absolutely hammered. Where is it? I need to find. There it is. And you have to fire a photon torpedo into your target. Otherwise, the shots won't work. And just like that, that's the end of A New Hope itself. Sort of, but we still have two more main missions. The second one, interestingly enough, is not based on any of the movies.
Wipe out enemy fighters.
Even you could perhaps make the argument that it might be there to represent Empire Strikes Back. I don't recall the final confrontation in Empire Strikes Back being anything like this. So yeah, consider this game a bit of a test run to see if I can one day do cover a Rebel Assault on Sega CD. It is a game I own, but due to issues getting my Sega CD to work, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get around to it. It's also quite a long game. In fact, most of the remaining Sega CD games I've yet to cover are long. So now we're basically covering the arcade modes set of stages. A bit of trivia, did you know that the reason why there are 2 Death Stars in the Star Wars trilogy, in the original trilogy, was because the Death Star was originally going to be reserved for the final film in the trilogy? For Episode 6 and Episode 6 alone. However, because George Lucas decided to start in the middle, so he could cover the most exciting the most exciting moment of the Skywalker saga, where it would be at its most exciting part.
Wipe out enemy fighters.
He decided to move the initial Death Star climax to A New Hope, and then incorporate a second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. By the way, the rest of this playthrough is gonna be the arcade mode state. All these stages are literally taken from the arcade mode. There may be some small changes here and there, but in general, we're playing arcade mode story. The arcade mode's levels from here on out. So just going around. Another bit of trivia, apparently this is to this day the only console version of this game that's available. Is the 32X version of this game. It never saw re-release on Saturn or PlayStation or anything like that. Probably due to the extremely crude and outdated graphics for the time. I mean, this is comparable to, say, Galaxy Force 2 on the graphical fidelity here. Though it probably looks a little better on the 32X. A little cleaner, if you will. Still, I don't mind the graphical looks of these games. I was enamored by Bubsy 3D based solely on how trippy the graphics looked. So I could probably empty out my photons right now, so... Got him. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this game.
Storm the Superstar Destroyer and destroy its main engine.
Yep, we are doing another one of these ones, so I gotta switch viewpoints. Yeah, after the initial stage, all these stages are gonna be taken straight out of... Basically, the goal is to survive long enough to reach the main target so we could fire one of our photon torpedoes at it to destroy it and end the mission. This is technically level 2. Yes, this is a really short game. Then again, the original arcade release was also a really short game. Short but difficult. Really difficult. No joke, this took days for me to complete. And honestly, these missions in particular are a complete hassle to deal with. I can't take any more hits or too many more hits or else I'm gonna die. Now I'm trying to steady myself so I could go down a steady descent. And it's really difficult to steady yourself because you are pretty much just... The movement controls are super sensitive. But that's okay, we destroyed the Star Destroyer. And I don't recall this ever happening in Empire Strikes Back. We did see something similar happening in The Last Jedi, but this would have been much cooler.
Wipe out enemy fighters.
And now we're heading for the final batch of missions. And something worth noting is how often is that you tend to see these. One mission in an asteroid field, another mission in a Starfleet or something. Either a Starfleet or the Death Star. And then it culminates you in an obstacle course where you have to destroy the main weak spot. Rinse, repeat. Except for the first batch levels, which actually has Asteroid Field, Starfleet, Asteroid Field, Death Star, and then Death Star Core. Then we have Asteroid Field, then Starfleet, and then Starfleet's Core. Now we have another Asteroid Field. And by the way, these are definitely the most difficult missions, at least as far as targeting the opponent while evading enemy fire. Likely you fully regenerate after every mission. But a lot of times, you just don't have enough time to make your mark, and you just have to sort of sell on the photon torpedoes. If they're heading towards you, or they're not moving particularly fast, I could just shoot at them. So I have to speed up in order to avoid enemy fire. Now I need to let them come up front. And I have to be careful now. Generally speaking, if you can, it's better to fire with your normal projectors. You can't get if you can't get a proper efficient lock on them, just fire a torpedo. If you can. Note that big wedge.
Look as far as this acquisition. Rayleigh standing by. They're coming in. 3 marks at 210. Watch it, you've got one on your tail.
Those 3 targets are always free if you just nudge up a bit on firing. And hold the fire button. And worth noting too is that Biggs, Wedge, R2-D2, and one other character that you will see at the end are literally the only characters in Star Wars Arcade who reprise their roles from the movies. And the only reason for this is because they just use the voice samples from the original movies in this game. Because they had to get new dialogue for Admiral Akbar. Because I had to get new dialogue from Admiral Akbar, I've decided he's the only one who doesn't reprise his role. I have no idea who voices him in this game, but I know he sounds an awful lot like Arnie. Alright, what the hell's going on here? That is such an unpleasant sound. Alright, we need a... These TIE fighters just refuse to get in front. And when they do, it's literally become hyper aggressive all of a sudden. So yeah, these stages are timed. You can also die by running out of time. So you got 3 more targets. Can't seem to find them. There we are. Where are you? You get this guy in front so I could fish him off. Alright, got the torpedo. And now for the final mission.
The central reactor is our only target. Do not be distracted by the others. Good rebel fighters, commence your attack.
Will do, Admiral Akbar. And afterwards and after this battle's over, we could go get some Admiral Akbar cereal. Robot Chicken reference. Maybe this time we can course correct from what we... And this is actually a recreation of the Return of the Jedi mission. By the way, even though no other target matters, it's at least good to try to take care of all other hostile forces if possible. Fewer targets to shoot at us. This part's gonna be annoying. We actually need to speed. I don't realize this yet, but I need to speed up. Because the doors are closing in, and though we can still go above them, eventually those turrets are gonna be able to hit us. There's a lot of these too. Now we can go back down. Hopefully we can avoid any other nasty surprises. This literally reminds me of the final gummy ship missions in Kingdom Hearts 2. Which is kind of funny to think, because that was before Disney acquired Star Wars. Yet there was a gummy ship mission based off of the final Death Star mission from Return of the Jedi. So so we're going down faster and faster. This is a sign that we're nearing the end.
Now log on to the strongest power source. It should be the power generator.
Oh yeah, Lando Calrissian also reprised his role. Sorry, I meant Billy D. Williams, the guy who played Lando Calrissian in the movies. Though, again, I think that was just a voice sample from Return of the Jedi. But anyways, we have beaten the game. Just one shield left and one photon torpedo. And now, Princess Leia, will now, congratulations. Princess Leia, will now announce you man and man. You may kiss the man. Sorry, out of context, that looks like a wedding rather than a Medal of Honor type of ceremony. So yeah, that's Star Wars Arcade for ya. Definitely love the old computer 3D technology of the day. So trippy and surreal, and yeah, if you watch classic Looney Tunes or played Bubsy 3D, I do think there is some sort. Yeah, it looks cheap and outdated by that point in time. Like, Toy Story would come out a year later on the big screen. But I don't know, I always like those simple polygonal 3D kind of designs. I think it fits the Star Wars Arcade well. Now, assuming that I don't get hit hard by a bunch of bogus copyright claims from Lucasfilms, John Williams, Disney, etc, etc, etc. But maybe I could do Rebel Assault someday.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
And that is the final voice sample of the game from the late great Alec Guinness. Signing us off here, and I hope you tune in for the rest of this week. We are 6 games down, 6 games to go before our 100th perfect playthrough. Tune in tomorrow when we take on our first Arnie game here for perfect playthroughs, and as our 7th game of Christmas. Leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.